y'all know that we've got great experts here, and I had a chance to talk to our good friends, Eman, Carrie, Karen, and Kelly from NASA, and they told us a little bit more about this Artemis mission. So let's take a look at that conversation. All right, hey everyone, we are here with Eman, Karen, and Kelly. Can you all please tell us a little bit about the rocket Artemis?
The seeds are hitching a ride on Artemis. Artemis is an uncrewed flight test and the first in a series of missions providing the foundation for human deep space exploration and demonstrating NASA's commitment and capability to extending human presence to the moon and beyond. Artemis 1 will test NASA's Space Launch System rocket, SLS, and the Orion spacecraft as they travel around the moon and in the extreme environment of deep space before flying astronauts on Artemis 2. One of the most exciting parts about the Artemis program is that NASA plans to land the first woman and the first person of color on the moon, inspiring the next generations of explorers, you, the Artemis generation.
Wow, thanks, Karen. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering about how the seed's journey is going to look like. So let's talk about Artemis 1. Although Artemis 1 is an uncrewed mission, we are very excited about the special payload of seeds. So let's talk about their journey. During liftoff, the Space Launch System, or SLS, will provide about 8.8 million pounds of thrust, propelling the Orion spacecraft on an almost 1 million mile journey to the moon and back. At launch, the SLS will be the most powerful rocket in the world. The rocket is powered by 4 RS-25 engines, liquid hydrogen and oxygen boosters, and 2 solid rocket boosters. As Orion continues its path from Earth orbit to the moon, it will fly about 62 miles above the moon's surface. Then, using the moon's gravitational force, Orion will propel itself into what we call the distant retrograde orbit, where it will continue to orbit the moon and collect data. It will then do another close flyby of the moon before firing its engines and using the moon's gravitational force to propel itself and accelerate back to Earth. The seeds will have traveled about 1.3 million miles and spent about 6 weeks in space before returning home back to Earth.
Wow, what an amazing journey! I'm sure you're all wondering how the seeds were packaged and loaded onto Artemis 1. Following their packaging for flight, the seeds were placed in something called the Orbital Flight Kit, or OFK. The OFK is a foam locker that contains a variety of items approved and listed on the flight's manifest. A manifest is like a list of the spacecraft's cargo, similar to on a ship or an airplane. If you've ever flown on an airplane before, you were on the flight's manifest. The OFK was then shipped to Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida, where it was finally installed in the spacecraft and secured with straps, kind of like a seatbelt. The seeds are also protected and packed with 2 layers of material so that they don't become separated or loose inside the OFK.
Nice. Well, that answered a lot of my questions. But what about the questions you all have at home? Everybody watching this program out there in TV land. Let's check back in with our panelists and see if they can help us out.